Total Fitness Friday. We've got a nice busy studio for once for the 100 rep challenge. Sorry for getting the little poster on the reminder last night. It's silly me. Yeah, 100 rep challenge. If you've not done it before, you're aiming to get 100 reps over 5 minutes of each of the fundamental movement patterns. So we've got squats for anterior legs, we've got swings for posterior, press-ups for chest, lateral raises for shoulder, rows for back. So each area is worked with some of the most fundamental movement patterns for each. So it's really good practice for all the sort of main exercises. However, it's never that simple. Over those 5 minutes, that bell goes every minute. You have to stop what you're doing and do a set number of burpees, 5 being the advanced level. So again, you can adjust that. I'll tell you all the ways you can adapt it shortly. So don't worry. No matter what level you're at, you can still have a go. Okay, so I'll explain all in a bit. You'll need the kettlebell, the swings, and bent over rows, and some dumbbells, light dumbbells for lateral raises. Other than that, it's just body weight. Right, let's warm up there, and then you can go from there. Right, okay, so just stretch, nice and loose. Right, so we do our usual 4 exercises, 30 seconds on each, jogging on the squat in between. So we're going to start with jacks, just to get the heart rate up a little bit. 3, 2.
We're doing it all the time.
it many times, you'll know exactly what it's all about. So we've got 5 of your fundamental movement patterns, the main exercises for each and every muscle group. So we've got some hinges for the posterior chain, some squats for the anterior chain legs. Very important to distinguish between the two. So a lot of people come and they're pretty fit. The strength's good, but they're getting the hinges and the squats. You can't do the same thing for both, so it's good to differentiate between the two. That's what we're doing in the first two. Then we move to upper body. We've got some rows for your lats again, some fundamental movement pattern, getting the hinge and engaging the lats. Then we've got shoulders, lateral raises, press ups for chest and triceps. The last two are very tough. And then sit-ups. Again, a fundamental bread and butter exercise, okay, but we're just going to really go over each. You're attempting to do 100 reps of each of these exercises. Over 5 minutes. Okay, however, every time, don't worry, obviously, you're attempting. The emphasis is on attempt. Okay? Nobody's got a gun to your head, you just do what you can do. So, for instance, like the press-ups, the last two, the sit-ups, they were really hard to get to 100. It took me a good few attempts to do that, and I think last time I didn't manage 100. So it doesn't, it really doesn't matter. Also, don't compare yourself to anyone else. For leg length, have a big, like squats, for instance, I'm always one of the last to finish. So I've got long legs, it takes me a long time to get away into that gas environment. And also good form. If you're using good form, which is what I want you to do, you'll be slower, okay? But that's infinitely preferable to half-arsing 100. I'd rather you do 60 good ones of any particular exercise than 100 bad. So although we're trying to get to 100, you are trying, okay? You don't have to, okay? It's just an attempt there. Right, so 5 minutes, the bell goes every minute. The twist is, every time that bell goes, you have to do a set number of burpees. So I'm going to do 5. So throughout the whole process, I'll be doing 150 burpees, okay? So that's quite a lot in that time. Okay, you might want to do 4 every minute, or 3, or even 2. Okay? You do a number of burpees. So that bell goes, I do my burpees, okay, and then I start my exercise. Okay? Our first exercise is swings. So I'm going to get my kettlebell, and then I start counting. 1, 2. Let's say the next bell goes, I'm on 23. So I put it down, you must keep in your head how many you're on. So I'm on 23, I do my set number of burpees again, 5 burpees, and then I carry on. 24, 25, I'm all the way through, 26, 27, that's how I get to 41. Bell goes again, stop, 5 burpees, back on, 42, 43. Keep the count. If and when you get to 100, 2 burpees, perfect. That's alright, trust me, you'll still feel it. If you get to 100, you don't just stop and walk away. You have to do a light back-off exercise. We're just going to do jacks, just like we did for the warm-up, so you keep your body moving, and you still do the burpees. You finish within 4 minutes, you still do the burpees as well. Okay? The last bell you don't do the burpees, it's just the first bell. The last bell you can just finish. Okay? That 5th bell. So that's what we're doing. Right, let's get the first one away. So it swings, let me run through the form. We've got a couple of new starters in. We always have new starters online. Right, a swing, you will not squat in your swing. Okay, so you shouldn't see this. Okay, it's a hinge. So it's through the thigh triangle. So from the floor, you pick it up through that triangle there, and you're hinging your hips. Imagine your arms are a piece of string, and you're just thrusting your hips forward. Or imagine somebody's got an elastic band, and then tie around your waist, pulling you back and letting it go. Okay, and this is where it comes through, look. There. Okay, don't squat your swing. We've got squats next, so we're going to look at those 2 variations. A squat, I'm sitting down between my feet. Okay, with a swing, I'm hinging my hips. So a deadlift is more of a hinge. Okay, a swing is more of a hinge. Okay, so Right, if it's your first time doing swings, nice and light, get the movement, relax your arms. Okay, so you're not lifting it up, we're not bodybuilding, you don't see this. Okay, it's just relax. There you go. Okay. Right, 5 minutes. So, have a think about how many burpees you want to do. Okay? Make it work for you. I'm doing 5. Okay, whatever you think. Right, ready? 100 rep challenge. On the way. 3, 2, 1. everything. Strength, power, endurance, cardiovascular, balance, mobility. It's all in there. Right, okay, so our next one there is squats. Can't get any more fundamental than that. However, along with press ups, it's probably done wrong more than any other exercise. So, with the squat, look, this angle needs to be sorted. Okay, you're never going to squat properly if that's happening. So straight away, drive the knees out. Push. Imagine somebody is doing this. Yeah, imagine that. Okay, and you're going, no. And pushing the hands away. Before you even start, there. Then, sit down. So you're not sitting back. This is what I get a lot. Okay, come on. This is a squat. There. There. Squat down. Into that gap. A good way of practicing in the gym is get like an oversized mental, like a wall ball. Sticking it between your heels. Sit on the wall ball. Drive the knees out though. Out. Okay? You have to sort that internal rotation. For so many things. Okay, so just bear that in mind now. And again, I would rather you do 50 like that than 100 of those. Okay? That just isn't a squat. It's some kind of weird Japanese bag. Okay, so 100 squats again. Burpees on the bell. And off you go. No weight. Body weight is all that's required. Okay? Right. Don't worry how many you do. Okay? Please don't worry about anyone else. I won't be finishing first. People on late, takes me ages to get down there. Okay? Right. Again, when you're done, some jacks, let's still get you. Okay. Well done. Right, that's the legs out of the way. Have a breather. Oh. Okay. Our next one there. Moving to upper body. Rows. I say upper body. The lower body's involved. You've got to hold that hinge again. Once again, it's very, very important to engage the glutes by driving your knees out. Again, so important. Get rid of that internal rotation. Okay, 2 burpees is fine. Absolutely, no worries. Okay, same again, 5 burpees on the minute, or 2, or whatever you're doing. This time it's bent over row. So, soften the knees, engage the glutes, keep it there. Hips go back, chest comes down. There's that third between. If you're a bit higher, if your hamstrings aren't loose enough, you won't be able to get that far down and maintain a straight back. That's okay. Even if you're more this angle, that's fine. Okay, I'm trying to get down here. So I'm more or less coming from the floor and then row. It's a belly button. What that does, it forces you to keep your elbows back. If I say row to chest, this is see my lats are not engaged. And the minute I do that, you can see they're engaged. Okay, same as when you stood up. If I pull my shoulders down, you can see the lats. Whereas if I do that, they're gone. So that's what you want. That bit is the top half equivalent of that. So again, they're fundamental patterns. Whatever you do with your upper body, hands in your pockets deep. Okay, maintain that. And you've got your lats, those big, strong muscles. Your top half engaged, just like you need the strongest muscles in your bottom half engaged. Okay, so rows. Okay, don't worry, it ain't perfect. There's plenty of time for perfection. Let's just get it right in your head. Okay? Right, here we go. Right. 5 burpees there. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, well done.
Look, I was raised in the drums in the 90s. In the back of the race, we can find me. Drive around town in the back of a Nova. Could have been a rover, definitely a 90s power. When we all grew older, now we're holding on to that feeling. With our hydro bikes and reaching out, touch the sky, yeah, touch the ceiling. If you dance as one till the sun comes up, and we don't want to leave tonight. It's that one that words just can't explain, but I know that the feeling's right. Yeah, that's the day I travel son. Also now you got bubbles on. Mom said, please you behave yourself. I said, yeah, please don't worry, mom. I said, yeah, please don't worry, man. This one feels nostalgic. It's got some of that 90s mansion. I want some of that 90s mansion. Yeah, it's another 90s classic. Driving to school with the radio on. Look, now we're on radio 1. I had beat up Reebok workouts, now I've got fresh straps on. 5-star, we're on parade. Calling myself to the bad behavior. Now I'm getting lost in the smoking laces. Giving drop bombs in wacky places. 12 pounds for a bottle of water. Dancing with someone's daughter. I won't leave till the night is done. Please don't worry, mum. Please don't worry, watch the sun go down as I'm coming up. Yeah, watch the sun come up as I'm coming down. Yeah, look, Dad said day I trouble son. Dance all night with my bubbles on. Mum said please you behave yourself. I said sorry mum. Mum said please you behave yourself. I said no, please don't worry mum. Mum said please you behave yourself. I said yeah, please don't worry mum.
It was so yesterday. Yeah, we're going the right way. Well done, Alex. Right. Have a little breather. Moving on to our next fundamental. We're going to do shoulders now. Last three, by the way. Lateral raises. Now, again, we'll just have a little lecture on forms of lateral raises. Right. You've got two types. You've got the lateral raises that 16-year-old boys in the gym do. You've got proper lateral raises that hit that medial delt, that give you that whip, that cannonball look on your shoulder. Okay? If you're going to do the former, you might as well do a kettlebell swing again. So this, you see lads in the gym doing with weights, they just can't really handle. What we want is a strict, from here, no dead range, no power build up, just there. Okay. Up to the top, just a subtle bend, you're not locked, subtle bend. Okay, up. Okay. There, nice straight line at the top. If you get really tired, okay, and you've got no other option, and you can't reduce your weight, then fair enough. You can have a little bit of a hip hinge and use a little bit of momentum. Otherwise, strict. Never here, from there. Burpees exactly the same. Jacks when you're done. Now, beware. I use only 5 kilo dumbbells on this. Punishes me. Right, we get this done. Then all we got there is chest, some push-ups, and then sit-ups. And then we're done. No finisher. It ain't easy today. Right. Right, you good there? 3, 2.
Reload and run, I just begun. I get what I want, and I keep it moving. Don't stop to breathe, it's too late to leave. So I grit my teeth, and I keep it moving. Reload and run, I just begun. I get what I want, and I keep it moving. Don't stop to breathe, it's too late to leave. So I grit my teeth, and I keep it moving. 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 I keep it moving.
Right, come on! Purely calisthenic. So, 1, 2, all the way, I'll do it at the end, it's 2. pretty straight after the weekend as well. Half an hour of deep stretching, doing that today, one improvement. Right, press ups. I know a lot of you have my little press up lecture many times, but some of you haven't, so it looks for first times today, again, first times online. Look, the bottom line is, like I said before, when you go for body, you have to keep the lats engaged. Imagine you've got the deepest pockets, and you're reaching down into them pockets. Okay, that feeling, that with your lats fully engaged, that's where you want to be. You don't want to be like this. You're doing press ups like this. Got to get out of that habit, you'll never ever master them fully. Okay? You are an arrow. See the shape? That's what you are when you're doing a press up. You're not this. You're not a T. T is weak. Okay, an arrow is strong. Okay, that's where you need to be. Heel of the hand. Lower chest level look. Not here. There. And then pull your elbows down. Okay? And then push. I'd rather you do kneeling press ups. Again, the chicken dip as I call them, like this. Okay, that's just doing nothing. You're much better off getting right down the belly, pull your elbows down, get your hands in that position the top talked about, and just do a cobra press. As long as you keep your glutes tight, that's okay. A nice stretch in your lower back as well. Just doing like that, then eventually you can keep your core tighter, so that just your chest is touching, and then eventually up onto your toes. Right now, 100 reps of press ups in 5 minutes with burpees in between is extreme. Particularly if you're stripped. Okay? If you're going chest to floor and doing 100, you are at an elite level when it comes to press ups. So don't think, if you only get to 40 or 50, oh my god, I'm useless, you're not. That's not how it works at all. The 100 rep on press ups is extremely tough to get. I think I didn't get it last time, and I don't expect to get it today. It's really, really hard. Again, if you chest to floor and strict about it. Because your burpees are really impressive, aren't they? Yeah. Again, going chest to floor. So if you want to do burpees non-chest to floor, this one, that's fine. Okay, you might do a non-chest to floor all the way through. Okay, it's up to you. We've got this one and sit-ups, our last two. Okay? Well, one more thing. Do not work to the bell on these. If you do, you're going to be a world of pain. Set yourself a target. So if you want to do 60, go for 12 each time maybe, and then rest. Trust me. Don't work full tilt to the bell, because you won't make it past 2-3 minutes, I promise you. I've made that mistake before. Okay? And certainly don't go beyond 25. 20 even. You know, as I say, most people 10, rest. Set yourself an initial target of 50, that's hard enough. Okay? Right. I think I'll pick that one up, don't I? Right, here we go. Oh, we need it there now, here we go. 3. strict here. What I mean by strict is feet back, hands at temples. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, so what we do still want though is measured. So what I do is floor, feet, I'm cheating, so I'm building momentum and it's helping me get it done. However, it is still measured. Okay? So you know that next time you do it, if you get more, you really have the more, you're not just cheating a bit more. Okay? Right, last one. And if you get too much, just do a crunch. Yeah, that's fine as well. Right. Last one. A couple of breaths. Just say those sit-ups. They're going to be murder. Get ready. Right, okay. Right, last one.
Oh
100 without playing number games, then congratulations, you are a psychopath. Because no normal human does that. Yeah. Right. There's always one. Right. We're coming right back now with total mobility. Half an hour deep stretching. See you in a minute. I'll see you tomorrow.